Good afternoon. It is April 5th, and I am joining you today from my backyard, which, as you can tell, is located next to a street. And it's rush hour in this small town I live in, which means we'll hear a car every 20 seconds. So I hope you can bear with me on that, some spring bird noises and whatever else we get. But like I mentioned, it's April 5th, which means we are 3 days removed from a pretty cool anniversary that I completely missed. I got busy writing, working on new adventures, and I forgot what day of the month it was. And I forgot this, and I'm a little bummed about it, but I figured we could celebrate today and talk a little bit about this book right here, Brink of War, which came out on April 2nd, 2022. So just over a year now this book has been out, and wow, I really can't overstate how amazed I've been by how this book has been received. It's my best-selling book by far, my most popular book, the book I received the most emails and interest about, the book people, when I meet and talk to readers, the one they want to talk about. Brink of War has really been amazing. As a writer, this is the book that has opened so many doors for my career and taken me to new places and new adventures, and taken you, my readers, to new adventures too, it would seem. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about this book and how I came to write it, how I almost did not write it, how difficult it was to write, how I thought that it would bomb, and what actually happened, because it's a little bit of a fun story, and I thought it might be a nice way to celebrate. So we have to backtrack a little bit to Sundown, which is the 7th book in the Reed Montgomery series. Reed Montgomery is the first thing I ever wrote. Opened up with Overwatch, and that was in 2019. And fast forward to late 2021, and I'm writing and releasing the 7th book. Actually, was it 2022 when the 7th book came out? I can't remember. I'll have to see. I can't keep up with dates. I can't. I'll have to look it up. Anyway, Sundown comes out, and I knew that Reed Montgomery's story in the Reed Montgomery series was concluded. Kind of needed to be. If you've read that series, you know there's a certain plot arc there that sort of resolves. And I knew that if I wanted to continue writing about Reed and his team and his friends and the things that are going on in his life, I would need to expand into a different story arc. And I felt the best way to do that would be to transition to a different series. And so at the end of Sundown, without giving anything away if you haven't read the series, we have a little emergency siren back there. At the end of Sundown, Reed and his team find themselves a little bit dispersed. Some tough things have happened. There's bad blood between Reed Montgomery and Maggie Trousdale. There's some people who've been hurt, and Reed and Banks in particular are on the run. They're criminal fugitives, and they're fleeing. They're hiding out in South America, and things have resolved, but there's a lot of unknown in the future for them. And so my initial idea was I don't think I've ever shared this, but I was going to have Reed and Banks become sort of like international Jack Reachers. They were gonna go from country to country and different places in the world, kicking off probably with Southeast Asia to pursue some plot threads out of the 5th book in that series, Survivor. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. It's what Lucy goes to take care of. And they were gonna go fight crime and take down bad guys and do what they did best all over the world. And I think that could have worked, but the more I thought about it, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for Reed and Banks and the story they had. It didn't feel right for Banks particularly. It just didn't feel like that was the life that her character fit into. Banks is super tough and fearless and resourceful and brilliant, but she's not like Reed. She wants a normal life, and I just didn't feel like I could shoehorn the characters into that story arc. So I went back to the drawing board, and I started to think again, and it was actually another character who gave me the idea for what would eventually become Brink of War. Car. I don't know how much the passing cars are disrupting the audio, so I'm kind of trying to let them get past before I keep talking. Anyway, that character was Maggie Trousdale, Muddy Maggie Trousdale. So if you've read Reed Montgomery, she appears as the governor of Louisiana and is an integral part of that story. And she's so much fun to write about. I mean, she just, you know what, I'll do a video sometime talking about Maggie and how she came to be and what her story is and that kind of thing. But suffice it to say that I really had a lot of fun writing about her, and it seemed that you guys really had a lot of fun reading about her. She's a very popular character, very interesting character. And so I thought to myself, what if Maggie continues to ascend the political ladder? What if she goes all the way to the top? What kind of doors would that open? Where could Reed fit into that? And then the idea started to flow, and I knew I was onto something. I sat down, I wrote an outline, it all came together. I'm like, this could work, this could be a story, but I was intimidated because we're no longer just writing about tough people at war with a criminal empire across the Southeast and cities that I know well, working with things and doing things that I know how to research. We're now talking about all kinds of stuff I know nothing about. We're talking about political intrigue. We're talking about the inner workings of the Pentagon. We're talking about what happens in the Situation Room. We're talking about how the military responds to various threats. And I'm like, this is intimidating. Like, this is going to be a lot of work, a lot of research, but I had to do it. I had to give it a try because I just knew the story could be something. And so I did. And it was so difficult. It was so much work. But I put the work in, I wrote the book, and I had it edited, and I thought, I don't know, it feels good, but I can just never really tell how the book is going to be received because there's so much, as a writer, when you write the book, you're so involved in it, and you're so down on a granular level with the story that sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. And so I wasn't sure how the forest looked. And the only way to know would be to let my advanced team, who reads all my books before they're published, have a look. And so I sent it over to them after we edited it, and they loved it. And I had nothing but positive things to say about it and said to go ahead and let's launch this thing. And so we did, and I was still a little bit unsure. But Brink of War took off. It took off like no book I've ever published has. The response was incredible. And so I went straight to work on book 2, and I was working as fast as I could to get book 2 put together first strike. And that book was twice as hard to write as Brink of War because most of it takes place in North Korea. And I spent weeks just up to my eyeballs in all kinds of research about North Korea and the regime over there and the politics over there and culture in North Korea and the way South Korea relates to North Korea and the way China's involved and all these things that just I never thought I would ever be reading about, but of course I'm very fascinated by, and it's important to get those details right. And so I kept working and I kept working, and then we did Election Day, and now I've done Failed State, which is on pre-orders coming out this August. It was another very difficult book to write because that takes place in Venezuela. So this has been an amazing experience. It's been a very, been a very time-consuming experience, a lot to be invested in. It's been a big challenge, but man, has it been fun and has it been rewarding, and I can't thank you enough for the support and love for this book, for all the kind reviews, the kind emails, for sharing it with your friends, for all the ways that this book has just exploded. This book has opened up a lot of doors for my writing career and has enabled me to pursue a lot of big dreams and to reach more readers, and I can't thank you enough for that opportunity. I do want to thank a few people real quick. who were integral in bringing this book to life. So many cars. I want to thank my editor, Sarah, who originally edited this book and cleaned it up and made it readable. Lisa, who proofread it. My entire advanced team who checked through it and caught those last nagging typos and let me know that it was okay to release into the wild. To Gary Bennett, who performed the audiobook on this story and just did an amazing job. I want to thank now the fantastic team at Severn River Publishing. Since I published this book, I ended up signing with Severn River Publishing, and they're now taking over, bringing this book to new audiences everywhere and helping me to produce the rest of the series. And everyone over there who's continued to work on the series and is every day reaching new readers and helping me develop the story. Thank you so much for all of that support. To everyone who's left a review, to everyone who has picked up this book, and for a new author, they have no idea what they're getting into, but they want to try it. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for opening the doors that you have with this book, and I'm so glad you've enjoyed it. And I, of course, have to thank my wonderful wife, Annie, for her support and all the many hours she spent listening to me talk through this plot and helping me come up with new ideas and resolve plot problems and all those things that authors go through. She's just endlessly supportive and loving, and couldn't do it without her. So yeah, 1 year, and it feels like so much longer, and at the same time it feels like yesterday. This has just been an amazing experience. And so if you haven't tried Brink of War, hope you'll give it a try, see what you think. Let me know what you think. You can email me, you can drop a Facebook comment, leave a review. Any of those things would be awesome. And if you have enjoyed it, or if you have read it, I hope you did enjoy it, and we'll continue to enjoy the series. Thank you so much for the support. We've got plenty more coming. Failed State, book number 4. It's coming on August 15th. We're so excited about it. My friend Gary Bennett, he's just wrapped up recording on First Strike. He's about to start working on Election Day, so we got audiobooks for the entire series coming. And the team over at Severn River are just doing amazing things to help me build this story out and to really expand it. And I've got some great ideas. I'm actually about to start work on book 5 and pretty excited about it. So again, thank you for all the support. Happy anniversary to Brink of War, and I hope you continue to enjoy the adventure.